The National Medal for Museum and Library Services is the nation's highest honor for libraries and museums that are serving their communities in exceptional ways. Boston Children's Museum President and CEO Carol Charnow and community member Taquan Pomer Taylor traveled to Washington from Boston, Massachusetts to receive the National Medal and spoke to IMLS about how the museum impacts the community.
Well, the mission of the Children's Museum is to engage children in a joyful experience of discovery and learning. And the museum is 100 years old this year. It was founded in 1913 by a very dedicated group of science teachers, and it really is one of the pioneers in child-focused and family-focused programs and exhibits in the world. I think what's unique about the Children's Museum is that we are not there particularly for any subject or content or collection. We are there for our community. So every single exhibit, program, everything we do is embedded in who are we serving, how can we bring them into a deeper understanding of the world around them. The BNY Mellon Youth Leaders Program is a magnificent community program that was started by Mellon to engage teens in a workforce experience so that they get professional development, but as importantly, to bring teens from the neighborhoods into these community settings and then go back into the community settings and bring the community into the museum. And every year we take on another couple of kids, but really we have the teens for several years. You know, hopefully they come to the museum when they're sophomores in high school and they stay with us through graduation. Many, many of them actually come back and become employees of the Children's Museum, full-time staff, and they work their way through the museum into even levels of management. So it's just a tremendous workforce development experience.
I started working at the Youth Leaders Program. I like being around positive energy, and when I stepped in the museum, I feel that like immediately. We work with the visitor experience workers, and we sometimes help them on the floor, or sometimes we go on the floor ourselves and we make our own activities to engage the kids and keep them enjoying their time at the museum.
Well, the museum has about 200 or 300 programs a year. So we have teams of educators and, as Taquan mentioned, the visitor experience workers who work with kids on all kinds of themes. And we have art programs, we have theater programs, we have literacy programs. We have an exhibit called the Construction Zone on the third floor, where we just have a whole series of ramps and pulleys and trucks, and kids are coming. There's kids from all over. Their moms are all talking. So we're helping people to learn more about their community.
Oh, the kids are awesome. The kids, their energy is always like innocent, like happy, like they have nothing but good to give. I'm usually picked on at school and people talk about me and stuff, but when I go to work, I feel like I have a purpose. Like it's not. I used to believe everything that the people at school would say, but now I feel like I have something to give, and it really lifts my spirit, makes my self-esteem go up.
The changes in Taquan are dramatic. When I first met him, he was quite childish, very childlike, and now he is just so articulate about his goals. He's so respectful. He's so responsible. I just remember, finding that he really was thinking much more deeply about what he was doing at the museum and expressing himself in such a really deep and profound way. We're just so thrilled to see how he's grown during his time with us.
The difference between learning at school and learning at the museum is at school you sit down and it's lecture style. But at the museum you're in it, you're moving around, you're like with the kids, and then after you talk about everything that you just did on the floor, and that teaches you how to deal with them better or more. And it just helps. I'm the type of learner where I have to move around. If I move around, I will focus more and I will get a lot more from it. My future goals is going to Gordon College and majoring in astrophysics and minoring in theater.
Everyone who works there has a tremendous love for their community, for the children, and for each other. There's so much buoyancy, creativity, enthusiasm. There's so much sort of serious thinking about what we're really doing, what we have to offer. And we're so welcoming, and we want people to come into the museum because they bring so much to us. We learn so much from the people who come to see us every day. When I tell people I work at the Boston Children's Museum, almost everyone gets this warm smile on their face, and they say it changed their lives. You know, it gave them bravery, you know, to be able to climb up to the top of the climber. It helped them understand the world around them through our programs, our East Asian programs. They were up on a stage for the first time, acting in a theater show, or they had their first arts experience in our art studio. And it's just been you know, a wonderful 100-year journey for the Children's Museum, and we're just so excited to see what the next 100 years are going to bring. When the marathon happened that day on the 15th of April, which none of us will ever forget, the instinct I think we all had immediately was, this is a safe haven. How can we help? From the very next day, we packaged, I think there were 15 children in the hospital. We packaged gift bags for them. We went down to our shop, we filled them with toys and books and souvenirs from the Children's Museum. We then began providing passes for patients who had children so that their families could bring the kids. Then we started giving passes to the doctors and nurses who had children who were really terribly disturbed by what happened. And then before you know it, we were learning about all kinds of people who had been involved as first responders at the marathon, and we decided to create a whole month of first responder month at the museum, which we're doing in May, where every first responder in the Commonwealth and also all hospital employees in the 9 or 10 hospitals that treated the people who were injured immediately from the marathon bombing can come to the museum for free. And I think what has really opened my eyes is the tremendous generosity of the museum, and really what a safe and warm and wonderful haven it is, and what a healing place it can be for the community. And we have just been so humbled that we've been able to reach out to the people who were so deeply affected by the marathon bombing and provide them a home where they can come and feel safe and have fun and feel healed and be with their families.